Hello everyone, welcome to From the Heart. I'm Joshua.
And I'm Mary.
And we're excited to bring to you all that's new and good when it comes to the arts in Central Florida.
Today we are talking with Scott Evans, Coordinator for Visual and Performing Arts of Orange County Public Schools. We look forward to learning about his artistic journey up to now. Welcome, Scott.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So Scott, what were you like as a child and what music were you into back then?
Let me start with what music I was into. How about that?
Okay.
I was a pianist, so I grew up starting at age 6, taking piano lessons. I came from a musical family. My grandmother was a fantastic pianist, one of those people that you wish you got her talent. She was never read a piece of music, but just played whatever you wanted her to play in whatever key you wanted her to play in. It didn't matter, she could play anything, and she was incredible. So I grew up with her playing, and my parents were both musicians as well. In fact, they met in college as, I think my mother was my father's big sister in the college program there, and they both were in band. They played clarinet and saxophone. Both went on to become music educators, and so I grew up in that environment where both my parents were music educators, my grandmother was a pianist, my older brother also was, he's a violinist and string bass. And so it was sort of inevitable, I guess, that I continue in music and in the arts. I was surrounded by it every day, and I knew from day one that I can remember, I knew that I wanted to be a music teacher, actually. I've always wanted to do that. I never deviated from that. I was absolutely determined that that's what I was going to do, and everything I did through my education on was to get me ready for that.
Was there always music around your house? Did you play at holidays for relatives?
Yeah, when they forced me to. I loved playing.
Little Scotty, play us
Exactly. I loved classical pianist, and I loved playing just by myself with no one around, and
But did your
play my
parents
best
take out
when
their
it's-
instruments and did all of you take out your instruments?
Never.
No? You didn't
it
all
was
play
my
together?
older brother. We would kill each other instead of play for each other. There's no way. So
What are some of
not
your
now, of course.
What are
but,
some of
yeah.
your favorite composers to play?
I loved Chopin. I loved Bartók. Actually, he was get my aggression, anger out. Bartók was my piece for that.
Do you still get to play?
Not as much as I would like to play, but yeah, I have a piano at my house, and I again do solos for myself. That's my art form. Yeah.
Do parents ever ask you how they can encourage their children to play more, or to practice more, or to pick up
Absolutely.
instruments? What do you tell them?
Yeah, well, I tell them to stick it out. A lot of times we get parents that will say, my child's 8 and they're not practicing, and it's a battle every day, and I don't want to have to keep forcing them. And I think that most kids go through that. I know I did. I remember my parents basically saying, when you're 16 at that point, if you want to still quit, you can do that. And after spending, 9 years of your life practicing, it's pretty hard to give it up once you get to that point. And I'm so glad that they made me keep going and continuing.
So you tell them that
Yeah,
too?
I tell them that exact same story, to have them stick it out. And how many people do you run into say, oh, I wish I'd kept playing piano. I wish I kept practicing.
yeah.
I mean, so many people say that. Yeah. So I guess we as parents get to make the hard choice and help them along.
And for parents out there watching, what can they expect to see grow in their child who continues to play an instrument or study music or the arts?
Well, in addition to just being happier children, I think, which every parent would like, I think that's giving their kids an opportunity to express themselves, whether it's through their music or through visual art or through dance or on the stage. It gives them another way, another avenue to express all the feelings and emotions that they're going through that we know kids go through.
Where are you from, and where'd you go to school? What'd you study?
Sure, I grew up in the Boston area in a little town called Easton, which is towards Cape Cod. Went to school K-12 and had as many arts courses as possible. I had an amazing music program in that town, which I was fortunate to be a part of, and which really helped continue my path of being a music educator. And as soon as I graduated, I headed off to University of Massachusetts, the Lowell campus, which is just north of Boston, and did my 4 years of study there, and then was looking for jobs, and Orlando, Florida had lots of job openings at the time, and in New England there weren't a lot of job openings, so I headed down to Orlando, and I've been here ever since.
And what was your first job in Orlando?
My first job in Orlando was teaching at Cypress Springs Elementary School. I got to open a brand new school, which in New England we don't open new schools. It's everything is very, very, very old. It's been around for a long
Franklin
time.
went here.
Exactly.
Underground Railroad went through here.
Right. Big old school, brick house.
Interesting
Yeah.
example.
That was great. So got an opportunity to open a whole new school, start a new program from scratch. It was really quite an amazing opportunity.
Have you taught
Yeah.
all ages?
I did. I taught elementary school for about 8 years, was doing lots of general music in the classrooms and falling in love with teaching chorus to young students. So I had a fourth and fifth grade chorus called the Cypress Singers that we used to travel and do all kinds of things. And I just loved that so much. The arts supervisor at the time for our district said, you really should look at doing middle school because you'll get to teach chorus every period, all day, and just continue the things that you're loving to do. So, of course, everyone says middle school, you're crazy. But I did it, and I ended up absolutely loving it. And so I worked middle school for several years. And then my principal at the time, who I loved to death, got moved to Boone High School and asked me to go with him. So I took that opportunity and went and taught in high school for 2 years before I left the school district for a brief time to get some administrative experience and ran the Orange County Arts Education Center, which was a not-for-profit organization here in Orlando for a few years.
What's the secret to being a good arts teacher for young people, whether high school or middle school?
I think that having high expectations is number one.
I thought you were going to say patience.
That too. The high expectations to me is the most important, that we're always pushing our students and pushing our kids to be absolutely at the top of their game. But in addition to that, understanding that every student comes at learning about the arts in a different way. So we have to be able to alter our instruction so that we're meeting the needs of all the various kids that we have in our classrooms. So it's being flexible with how you approach teaching whatever art form it is you're teaching about is really critical.
That's great. You can do it in that too.
We're going to have to finish up this segment, unfortunately, but tell us if you could just give us a couple words of advice to a student that might be watching this that's really trying to pursue music and it's hard.
Yeah.
What would your advice be to them?
Keep going. I mean, absolutely keep going. And I say that to all students in all the arts, not just music, but in every art form, that the payoffs later in life are unbelievable. And they'll be so appreciative that they did continue on through their art studies. Whether they're going to, be an artist or major in the arts doesn't matter. It's about having those experiences and having those to fall back on as an adult are really critical.
Oh, that was a great answer.
It was a great answer.
Yeah, thank you so much. Wish we had more time, but unfortunately we have to stop here. However, Josh and I will be back shortly for more conversation about the future of visual and performing arts of Orange County Public Schools. And in addition, we'll hear about Scott's personal aspirations from the heart.